Egypt's foreign minister warned that involvement in the form of arming rebel fighters would, quote, lead to an escalation in the military conflict and spark a civil war in Syria. Well, just who would the United States help? By launching airstrikes against Assad's regime, or perhaps by actually arming the opposition? And what are the consequences of military action? Senator Dianne Feinstein is the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. She's briefed regularly on Syria. We talked tonight about Syria and Iran, and I want to note we spoke just a few moments before that breaking news about Iran's Parchin military site.
The United States cannot be the world's policeman. We still have men and women dying in Afghanistan. We're trying to get out of Iraq. We've played a role in Libya. We see the Middle East exploding. The key is to get the United Nations to pass a resolution which enables the Arab League to go in there. The key is to develop regional bodies which are responsible, stable, and can handle situations like this. I think we can provide humanitarian aid, we can provide advice, but in this situation, I do not believe that we should commit American lives.
And it's interesting you say that today. Obviously, we just heard Secretary Panetta saying that he thinks that this could be 3 times as complicated as a place like Libya, where, of course, we're now seeing certain parts of Libya wanting to split off from other parts. So that situation is far from resolved. But as chairman of the Intelligence Committee, what do you know about the Syrian opposition? I mean, I know we like to simplify these things, and it's not that simple.
Yes.
But do we even know who the, quote, good guys are?
Well, I'll tell you what I know. I know it's very divided. I know there are many groups. I know that Al-Qaeda is in there. I know that before you arm somebody, you have to know what they're connected with and what they're going to do with those arms. And we don't really know that, to the best of my knowledge. You're right. Syria is a very complicated picture. It's a brutal ruler. Assad, I have very little respect for. Having said that, open humanitarian zones, find ways for people that need to leave, work with surrounding countries, help as best we can. But if we start attacking the Syrian army, which is not a minor army in that area, and Syrian equipment, we are in another war. And one of the things that bothers me is increasingly the solution to everything is bomb. And I don't think it is. I think the solution is working out alternatives to bombing, and that's what we need to do.
When you talk about war, obviously there's been a lot of talk recently about Iran and what the right thing is to do, and for a lot of reasons. The election, Israel's adamant stress about Iran, it appears that we're near some sort of a tipping point. What sort of intelligence, how have you been briefed on what Iran is really doing right now?
Well, I have followed the intelligence very carefully. I have met with Israeli generals. I read everything that's come out. I've had occasion to be able to discuss this with the National Security Council, Tom Donilon, with the president. And here's what I believe. I believe that Israel will attack. I believe that it is important that diplomacy be given an opportunity. I believe it is possible to achieve a diplomatic solution. And now that the P5+1, in other words, the members of the Security Council plus Germany, have agreed to a negotiation which can take place shortly, our teams have left. I think that if Iran is smart, if Iran really wants to bring its citizens into the 21st century and become economically upwardly mobile, that they will realize that going for a nuclear weapon makes no sense.
You just said, though, that Israel will attack, and I know that obviously you had a chance to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he was in the United States the past couple of days. What did he tell you? I mean, this whole question about Israel attacking is really, there's such a crucial question as to if they do it when. What can you tell us that he's thinking now?
Well, his resolve is very firm. No one should doubt that. He told us he's not asking anything of the United States. Israel believes they are prepared to handle it. Now, what happens after an attack is another story. and attack is very difficult. The question is, can it be solved another way? I happen to believe it can. I happen to have tremendous belief in the act of hard-nosed, comprehensive diplomacy. And I believe the Israelis will wait to see what happens. Sanctions are beginning to work. The central bank is under sanction. More countries have come into the sanctions. The real is in trouble. Unemployment is up. Foodstuffs are scarce. The time has come for Iran to realize that the world is serious.
If Israel, though, determines that that attack will come before the United States would like it to, before the United States feels that diplomacy has been given a fair shot, what does the United States do? Are we basically then completely stuck? I know there's no treaty, but stuck going into?
Well, as Mr. Panetta has said, the intelligence indicates that Iran is still a year to 2 years away from a weapon. Intelligence says that the supreme leader has not given the order to develop a nuclear weapon. Enrichment is taking place. Much of it is hidden. These are two very cautionary notes. So as I look at this, anything is possible. And Iran is a party to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. There is nothing in this for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Nothing at all.